Welcome everybody. Today I'm discussing digital. I'm speaking with Andreas Nest. Andreas, could you kind of give everyone a bit of an overview of what you do as a business, and if you can talk a bit about how you kind of use digital marketing within that as well to start with, that'd be great.
All right, cool. Yeah, hello, Rob. Thanks for inviting me over to this little chat here. So my name is Andreas Nest. I'm a business coach and mentor. And what I do is I help business owners move their business to the next level. Now, imagine that in the evolution of every business, there comes a stage when a business owner hits a ceiling, a glass ceiling, where they don't know how to grow the business any further because they spend a lot of their time working in their business rather than working on their business. And so my job as their coach is to take them to that next level, whatever the level is for them. Could be more profit, more revenues, could be perhaps finding new sites and expanding the business into other territories. Whatever it is that is stopping them from growing is what I remove, and I help them get to that next level. In terms of my digital marketing, I do a few things. I'm very active on LinkedIn. I have a lot of connections and I communicate with those connections on a regular basis. What I also do is I've done a lot of interviews, shot a lot of interviews with interesting business owners who had an interesting journey. And so the reason for that is very simple, that when I looked at other posts on LinkedIn, for example, it was all about, let's do a poll, did you get out of bed with the left leg or the right leg today? And what does it mean for your day? And I found that all a little bit boring. And so I thought, what is it that I find interesting? What is it that I find to watch? And I always enjoyed watching chat shows, when you got, somebody interviewing somebody and asking them, what was your journey like? How did you get to that point in your life? And I found it really inspiring and interesting. So I thought, why don't I do the same with business owners? And I asked them about their journey, find out how they arrived at that point in their life. What were the struggles, the challenges that they came along? How did they overcome them and turned it to what it is now, hopefully a successful business? So during these interviews, it then became apparent that a lot of these challenges were very common, and there was different solutions to these challenges, which I found really interesting. And so that's why I did a lot of interviews, and they get good views. They get people kind of entertained as well. And it's not just, reading something and then thinking about it, it's actually really participating and doing it. So that's what I do.
Yeah, for people that aren't aware, that you and I did some work on that in the past. And to be honest, that's where I got the idea for this.
Right, okay, there you go. And you did all the editing, didn't you? You did all the editing and the fine tuning of them. So thanks for that. You did a great job.
No, it's a pleasure. But like I say, as you say, the content in them is really good, really well worth listening to and watching. And I will definitely advise you all to go and watch some of the videos that Andreas is talking about. There's lots of business interviews on your YouTube channel, and they are really, really good. YouTube's always an interesting sort of medium and channel. Have you found sort of like growing your subscriber list? Has that worked well, or?
I have a really good subscriber list on LinkedIn. On YouTube, it's okay, I would say. I don't promote my videos very much on YouTube. I use YouTube as kind of a backup place to have them on there. And when you watch my videos, they will link you back to YouTube, which then is kind of a good depository. I find it good because they're easy to access. You don't have to, if you're trying to download a video that's longer than 5-10 minutes onto LinkedIn, it will not let you. It's too big. The data is too much. And so you're always better off downloading it into your YouTube channel and then using that link to put it onto something else, in my opinion, okay? So yes, I find it interesting. I have a few subscribers on there. I'm not promoting it very much as its own little channel. Like I said, it's more depository for me. I mainly put all these onto my Facebook page, onto my LinkedIn page, and onto my website. That's what I use it mainly for.
So let's talk a bit about LinkedIn. So you said you've got a lot of good followers there. So do you post regularly? Do you have any kind of particular pattern to how you use LinkedIn?
I've tried various different patterns. I was even a member of a pod at some stage, but I found it a little bit too restricting. And there was a certain time when we had to post and it got a little bit too much, and I got bored with it. And then I thought, you know what, I don't want to do that. I'm trying to post at least once a week, something that is of interest, mainly, hopefully, one of those videos. Sometimes I do other stuff that I come across that I find interesting that I share. I always do that. It's not just so much posting and that, it's also looking at other people's posts and commenting or liking those posts that I find very amazing in terms of generating leads from LinkedIn. You can post all day, but if nobody's reading your post and nobody is interacting with you, you've got actually nothing to show for it. Sometimes it's easier just to look at an interesting post and make a comment and then see what the other person says. I think in terms of LinkedIn, it's a bit like, going to a networking group. If you are there and you're opening your wallet from day one and wanting to sell to the group, nobody wants to buy anything. But if you change that around and you ask, can I help anybody? What are you struggling with? And really getting out there and reaching out and commenting and talking to people, having a conversation is where the magic happens for me. So I do a lot of that.
That is really, really good advice. Worth its weight in gold. And you're absolutely right. It is all about having those conversations. It's not all about I've started it here. And certainly if you're going with a hard sell type posts, they just don't go anywhere. So that's really good advice to share to everybody. And talking about posts that are of interest, I know when I asked you to kind of, if there are a couple of things you'd like to share in particular, you sent two over, which were really fascinating. So one was that you was it a COVID ambassador locally? I was. Somebody nominated me last year as a COVID. I think I called it an ambassador, which was I helped out during COVID. I tried to help as many business owners as possible. I offered pro bono coaching sessions. And so somebody nominated me to the local councillor, Alan Mack, and he gave me that prize. It came out of blue. I was really surprised. It's really good. Thanks for that again. Yeah. And it's just giving back to the community. And it's a bit like what I said earlier. People are not stupid. They see that you going in there and you want to sell, and take. And that doesn't work. LinkedIn is a massive networking site. It is. And it's networking on a virtual level. So the same rules apply as in the face-to-face networking. You go in and help people first. People need to know, like, and trust you before they actually start thinking about buying anything. Yeah.
And before you get to the know, like, and trust, there's a bit of a journey. Yeah. And you got to cover that.
No, I think it's absolutely right. I mean, so another networking meeting a few weeks ago, when I was asking about what sort of advice would people, someone went, show somebody how you can get a sale straight away on digital marketing. And it's like, but it's not about that. Really, it's another marketing tool. It's a part of your arsenal, but it is all about actually, this is how you, as you say, meet, like, no trust. That's the best way, I think, of using digital marketing. So
absolutely. And you need to create that with your digital marketing. People need to know about you, and then they need to start to like you. Okay. Yeah. And when they start liking you, eventually, after a while, and it's not intermediate, it takes a bit of time before they trust you. And when they trust you, then they will ask you about your products and your services. And eventually they will buy from you. You don't have to do any selling at all. People will buy from you if you take them on that journey.
Yeah.
And that's how I always done it. And it seems to work.
Earlier on, you mentioned as well that you share your videos on your website. How does your website build into your digital marketing and sort of, does it drive inquiries and that sort of thing for you?
It does drive inquiries. I do get leads from my website, which is great. I see my website as the center of all my digital marketing. Every post, everything I put out there links back to my website. Okay, all these videos that I have out there are also going always back to my website, because that's why I want people to read more about what I do and how I do it, because I can't put that in a little post. When it comes to the world of coaching, if you're trying to explain to somebody what coaching is all about, it's really hard to get your head around it. So it's a bit like explaining how to ride a bike. You can't theoretically understand how to ride a bike until you actually sit on a bike and do it. And so the way for me is to send people back to my website, to get them on there and have a really deep look and go through all the different things I have on there to really get a bit of an understanding. And once they get this understanding, they will then hopefully ask me for a complimentary coaching session whereby I through the medium of a coaching session, I help them then understand what it's all about. And so the website is crucial in that, because it's got all the information in one place.
Again, I'm sure you've read my strategy documents, because I think everyone should be, that website is the kind of the heart of everyone's digital marketing. It's your bit of the internet, that's your estate that you can manage. And as you say, it's where you want everyone to come back to. And it's also where Google goes to find you. So when somebody's looking for, I want a business coach in the Portsmouth area, which is something that they like to want in Google, Google wants to see that from your website, to be able to go, oh, do you know what, Andreas is a great example of this from the content. So I'm going to put you higher up my ranking list, hopefully on page 1, and hopefully the top of it. Again, without you having to really have to pay for that, because you're doing all the right things content-wise.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And also, I think when you talk about Google, it's really important to have a shop front at Google My Business.
Yeah.
A lot of my clients, when I first meet them, they don't have a Google My Business listed. And I'm thinking, you're missing a massive trick there, because it's free. It's absolutely, it doesn't cost you a penny to put your business on there. It puts a little needle in the map. It puts your logo out there. It tells people what you're all about. You can put photos there. You can put videos on there. You can put, even the best thing on Google My Business is customer ratings, I believe. Because that's how you get the ranking within that. When somebody clicks on, whatever your business is, it will come up with the rankings and the people's comments about you. And people always believe other people more than yourself. So if I say I'm great, nobody believes me. But if other people say, they go, well, maybe I should be listening now. And so not using Google My Business as an amplifier of what you do, I think is a must. You absolutely have to do that.
Oh,
and it's easy to do. It's really easy to do.
Yeah. And as you say, it's easy, it's free. And if you Google anything with kind of a local term, so, as I said, business coach near Portsmouth, because that whole map section of the Google results is all driven through Google My Business posting. So and your thing about reviews as well, that's really, as you say, absolutely right. It's really powerful. But one of the things that people don't do is proactively ask people to do it. And I was reading recently about a great strategy. I don't know if this is something you do as well. It's actually as part of either sending somebody an invoice or an invitation or something like that, or closing a piece of business, or you actually send them a link and say, could you put a review here, and direct them to your Google My Business page, because that's a really good place.
That's exactly what I do. I do it usually when somebody says, well, that's fantastic. I've just had a massive eye opener. Every time somebody says, great, I go, oh, great, oh, good. Could you do me a favor, please? Could you perhaps write a review for me? Because they're in a good mood. They want to do. They want to help you. And when they're on a high, obviously the review will reflect that. And I don't just use Google My Business for reviews. I also have LinkedIn is also great for reviews and feedback. And it's great because that's a real differentiator. If I were to choose between two businesses, one with no reviews and one with a review, I know which one I would choose. And look at yourself when you go, for example, out for a meal. Okay, there's this fascinating thing called TripAdvisor. And I used to own a pub in the past. So I was on TripAdvisor with my business. And you live and die with that TripAdvisor thing, because if you got bad ratings, nobody's coming. And, if you're trying something new out, a new restaurant, the first place you go is there and check out what's the ratings like. And unfortunately, the first thing we always read is the negative ratings, because these are the most entertaining ones. But they will impact your business. And that's how dramatically are reviews about your business. And so not having them or ignoring them and not asking for them, I think that needs to change, because that is a strong part of your not just your digital strategy, but your overall marketing strategy.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. And I like the thing you were saying there about the fact that asking for them when somebody goes, that's a great piece of advice, thank you for that.
Yeah,
brilliant idea to do it, strike when the iron's hot. One of the things I like to ask people, if there was like one really good piece of advice I can give, and also one piece of advice, just don't do that because it really doesn't work.
Yes, start was a good one. About a year ago, I think we had what we call an Action Coach Business Excellence Forum. And so one of the speakers on stage at that part was a guy called Marcus Sheridan. Now, Marcus Sheridan is one of the great marketeers when it comes to online marketing, and his book, They Ask, You Answer, was a real game changer for me. He basically had a pool business, a fiberglass pool business in the States, which he still has. And he, as it was ramping up towards the recession in 2008, the big credit crunch, he lost a lot of orders. His business overnight just collapsed in itself. And he was thinking, how can I make a difference? How can I make a change? How can I amplify my digital marketing? And so he thought, what are people actually asking on Google when it comes to my sector, my industry? And, you probably noticed when you put something, a search term into the Google engine, there will be a lot of other similar search terms coming up at the same time. And that gives you a really good idea what people are actually searching when they search for your industry or your sector. And so he was looking at all these questions thinking, so they want to know how much it is. They want to know what's the difference between a fiberglass pool and a concrete pool. And so he looked at all these questions. And then what he did was he created blogs about all these questions. They ask, you answer.
Yeah.
And he put them on his website. And suddenly his website got extra traffic and extra traffic and extra traffic. And then he found out that, as an example, that one of the questions was always, how much is it? How much is a pool? Okay. And nobody out there in his arena was telling people how much it is. They would say, well, we need to come to your house. We need to measure up. We need to see what you want. It's very bespoke and it's very difficult. And it's all these things. And he thought, well, why don't we keep it simple? And I give them 3 different scenarios, just a pool with a bit of landscaping around it. And then the other scenario, everything done for you with a whole, the whole bells and whistles, everything. And so he put that on his blog, the 3 different prices. He put it on his website, in his blog. And guess what? That blog post, just that one post, since he created it, right, created such a mass of traffic to his website. It's insane. And I can't remember the actual figures. Okay, so don't quote me if I'm wrong here. But he said it was probably 5 to 7 million of extra business that he generated just because of one blog post, because nobody else would tell people how much it is. And so I'm thinking, this is good. This is good. So what I've done over the last 6 to 9 months is I've created posts that ask and answers questions about businesses and do they need a coach? Why is coaching, what's the difference between coaching, consulting? What's the difference? Do I need a coach? And all these questions that people have when I put things about my sector in Google, then there's lots of questions coming up.
Yeah.
And so I created now videos that answer all these questions. And to no surprise, there's quite a lot of viewings on these posts. And I will continue doing them, answering more and more questions. And I do that by asking my clients, when you first looked for a coach, what is it you were looking for? And they all have different answers. So I'm going to have eventually, hopefully, a little video about all these questions. And so it's been a massive game changer in my head. And it's helped me create more content and hopefully boost up my rating on Google as well.
Just from that research, seeing all the different things that Google answers that are related questions, and providing answers for them, so you can actually start to kind of be part of those answers. That's brilliant advice.
Because here's my second bit of advice, if you may say so, about what not to do. A while ago, I engaged a digital market agency, and we agreed a certain amount of money every month that they would use into Google Ads. Okay. And so for the best part of 12 months, we were trialing and testing different keywords, different key phrases in terms of how to create leads for business coaching. And I tell you what, 12 months later, we still hadn't found the right words. I never received, I received one lead in 12 months for quite a substantial investment, because we just couldn't get it right. It was so difficult to get traffic and to understand what people actually really searching for and what would it make them click through to your website and actually reach out. Okay. Because it's not just good for people to get onto your website. They actually need to click through and reach out to you. Either pick up the phone or fill in your form or somehow get in touch. Other than that, what's the point? And so if you are out there and planning to want to invest loads of cash into Google Ads, you have to really, really do your homework first.
Yeah, no, that's great. I mean, you have given so much great advice today. I really do appreciate it. Hopefully everyone watching and listening will take on board what you've said. I think they need to go away and watch and listen to this loads of times and take lots of notes, because there's so much good stuff that you've shared. I really, really do appreciate you taking the time for us today. I hope you've enjoyed it as well. All right.
I did love it. Thank you very much. And thanks for giving the opportunity. Much appreciated. Hopefully it will help somebody else with their digital marketing. There's so many different opinions, and really what it all boils down to, you need to do what works for you, and you need to find that. And it's all through testing and measuring different strategies. And don't just give up if you do one thing and it doesn't work. It might just be a little bit of a tweak that's needed to make it work.
That's fantastic. I couldn't agree more. So, thank you.